Welcome to the world of quantum programming. You have probably heard the hype, but today we are going to break down exactly how programming a quantum computer is different from the coding you already know. We will explore the core concepts that make these machines tick and the models used to control them. To understand the quantum world, we first have to look at what we use today. Classical computers use bits, which are like tiny switches that can be either off, representing 0, or on, representing 1. It is a deterministic system. Quantum computers, however, use qubits. A qubit is probabilistic. Instead of being just a 0 or a 1, it can exist in a state that represents a complex combination of both at the same time. This ability to be in multiple states at once is called superposition. Think of a coin spinning on a table. While it is spinning, is it heads or tails? It is essentially both. In a classical computer, you have to check every option one by one. But because of superposition, a quantum computer can hold and process a vast number of potential configurations simultaneously. It is not just doing things faster. It is doing them in parallel universes of possibility. Next is the concept that Albert Einstein famously called spooky action at a distance. Entanglement is a special connection between two qubits. When they become entangled, they lose their individual independence. Measuring the state of one qubit instantly tells you the state of its partner, no matter how far apart they are. We use this in programming to link parts of a system together in ways classical logic simply cannot replicate. So if a quantum computer holds all possibilities at once, how do we get the single right answer? We use interference. Just like ripples in a pond, quantum waves can combine. Constructive interference amplifies the waves, increasing the probability of the correct answer. Destructive interference cancels out the waves, eliminating the wrong answers. A good quantum algorithm choreographs these waves to make the right solution pop out at the end. In classical coding, we use logic gates like AND, OR, and NOT. In quantum coding, we have our own set. The Hadamard gate creates superposition, turning a definitive 0 into a 50-50 probability. The poly-X gate acts like a NOT gate, flipping states. And the CNOT, or controlled NOT gate, is used to create entanglement between two qubits. These are the building blocks of every quantum program. We visualize programs using quantum circuits. You read them from left to right, which represents the flow of time. The horizontal lines are the individual qubits. The boxes on the lines are the gates being applied to them. At the very end, we perform a measurement. This collapses the delicate quantum state back into a classical 0, or one that we can actually read and use. Why do we go through all this trouble? Because of algorithms like Grover's and Shor's. Grover's algorithm can search through unsorted databases quadratically faster than any classical computer. Shor's algorithm can factor massive numbers exponentially faster, which has huge implications for cryptography and security. These algorithms prove that, for specific problems, quantum is not just better, it is in a different league. There are two main ways to build these systems. The gate-based model is what we have been discussing, using logical operations to run universal algorithms. It is harder to build but more flexible. Then there is quantum annealing. This approach is like rolling a ball down a hill to find the lowest point. It is specialized for optimization problems, like finding the most efficient route for a delivery fleet. You do not need a physics degree to write code for these machines. You can use languages and frameworks that look very familiar. Qiskit by IBM and Cirq by Google are Python libraries that let you define circuits and run them on simulators or real hardware via the cloud. Microsoft has even created a dedicated language called Q#. If you know Python, you are already halfway there. We are currently in what is called the NISQ era. That stands for Noisy Intermediate Scale Quantum. The biggest challenge is noise. Heat, radiation, and vibration can cause the qubits to lose their quantum state, a process called decoherence. This leads to errors. Right now, a lot of research is focused on error correction to make these systems stable enough for longer, more complex calculations. Quantum computing is not going to replace your laptop for browsing the web, but it will revolutionize fields like drug discovery, materials science, and finance. The hardware is getting better every year, and the software ecosystem is growing fast. If you are a developer looking for the next frontier, learning the basics of linear algebra and Python quantum frameworks is your best next step.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.